friends, welcome to CEC Gurukul Live Lectures. Dear friends, this is our session on career counseling called Pratibha Sambardhan, and today we are discussing in detail how the careers are affected by relationships. Relationships plays important part in your life, but sometimes they tend to bring the hindrance in choosing the right career or sometimes in making the right decisions at the right time. Dear friends, for this very discussion we have with us in our studios Ms. Kirti Dikshit. She is a counseling psychologist, and through her we are trying to understand what one can do so that one could have a bright future. So Ms. Kirti, as you have explained us in detail in the previous session of ours, how one can work. So we have different techniques as well as what is that important thing which is need to be kept in mind, how one can save time and do multiple things altogether.
Right. So I think time management is one of the things that a lot of kids are facing challenges these days. So when we look at it, the basic idea is to understand what kind of timetable we should follow. Now, while standard definition of timetable according to our parents would be wake up at 6, breakfast at 7, starting at 8 or 9, and then studying till lunchtime, having lunch and blah blah blah. So traditionally this would have worked. In a school setting, these kind of timetables are still working. However, kids these days are demanding more flexibility, and to understand what kind of system is better for you, you should ideate what is working for me. So for example, handling some tasks is working for me, so maybe I could work on 4 different steps that I have to follow in a day. Let's say I have to work on 2 subjects. One, maybe I want to go out for a walk. Fourth, maybe I just want to tidy up my room. So things like that you can start working on. But the idea of timetable is that you should have tasks in mind with a specific timeline. Maybe I just want to study in the first half and do my regular activities in the evening, and maybe I'll take some more time to study in the later half of the night as well. So these are some of the steps that you should take whilst understanding what kind of timetable you need to have. We'll also try to understand how do we work around making this timetable with respect to the subjects also, but that we'll do later. For now, another question that comes up is, should I wake up in the morning necessarily because my dad keeps telling me सुबह 4 बजे उठ के पढ़ाई करो, वो दिन का best time है to study. Now, traditionally, yes, of course, it would work. Even today, it works for a few kids, but majority of these kids today that I see are more of night owls. These night owls, when they want to study, the time is 10 p.m., 11 p.m. The idea is, if you actually want to study at night, it's still fine. If you want to do it near your examinations, 1 or 2 days, still okay. But if this becomes a regular habit, you should ideally make some time slots fixed. For example, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. That's it. Please don't hamper your sleep because of studies. While of course studies are important, let's not negate the idea of focusing on our health as well. Right? So being a morning person or being a night person innately is not bad. The idea is, how are you managing your time? How are you managing your studies during that time? Correct? Then there are different techniques when you look at time management. So for example, the Ivy Lee method that talks about, you should have at least 6 tasks that you plan to have at the ending of the day so that you can take it up the next day. What does that mean? It's basically, when I'm ending my day today, I should have 6 tasks that I thought I'll probably do or I would want to do the next day, which I have written in my diary that I'll plan to take up the next day. Of course, by understanding what kind of subjects I have, what kind of examinations are coming up, and what are the other things that I want to do, then you make a combined list that, hey, आज के लिए ये 6 चीज़ें हैं जो मैं कर सकता हूँ या मैं कर सकती हूँ, and you work on it. Then there is other technique called eat that frog technique. A lot of times what happens is, people tell me my most difficult subject is mathematics, but I am just not able to work on it. मेरे को ऐसा लगता ही नहीं है कि मैं कब start कर पाऊँ. वो start करने के लिए, the idea is, when you are starting your day or you are doing your first task, it should be the most difficult task that you feel. और जो हमारा सबसे difficult subject है, उसको हम सबसे पहले start करेंगे. Why? Because your motivation is the highest when you are starting to study. Right? Then there is Eisenhower matrix that will help you understand what kind of tasks that you should do what kind of tasks you should delegate, what kind of tasks are urgent, what kind of tasks are not important. So there is an entire matrix. Just feel free to Google it and try to understand. एक दिन अपने task list बनाओ. You'll sit with yourself for 15 minutes. You will identify not less than 15 things that you plan to do, right? And then you sit with Eisenhower matrix, which will actually help you ideate कि ये करना ज़रूरी है कि नहीं, ये वाला काम मुझे actually खुद ही करना है या मैं किसी और से करवा सकता हूँ या करवा सकती हूँ, right? Now, after time management, after improving your focus, the third very important aspect is habit formation. अब एक दिन तो पढ़ाई कर ली, एक दिन तो फोकस बन गया, अब ये रोज़ मैं पढ़ पाऊँ तो वो मैं कैसे करूँगा या कैसे करूँगी? Is the answer would be habit formation. Why? Because एक दिन पढ़ाई या एग्ज़ाम से एक दो दिन पढ़ लेने से you will probably pass in your examination, but the kind of depth you should have for your subjects, the kind of depth you should ideate when you plan to think about your career choice is what you need to work throughout the year, especially for class 10th and class 12th. You ideally should think about इस साल में मैं अपना बेस्ट कैसे दे सकता हूँ या कैसे दे सकती हूँ. द एंटायर गेम इज़ नॉट टू गेट 98%, 95%. द एंटायर गेम इज़ टू थिंक मैं इस साल अपना बेस्ट कितना दूँगी. Every day can I just take out 3 hours of self study? How much time are you actually getting for self study is also very important for you to understand. Now, habit formation. We all have heard people saying 21 दिन में आप एक चीज़ बार बार करते रहोगे, that will become a habit. But is that actually true? I fear not. A research actually says that it takes somewhere around 18 to 254 days, which is a huge number to think when you plan to start an activity and plan to make it a habit. Why is this important? Is because 3 components हैं habit formation के जो आपको किसी भी activity को habit में turn करने में help करेगी. The first step is reminder. When I want to plan an activity, for example, I want to read a book, I will decide a SMART goal for that. What is a SMART goal? SMART goal is basically specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and time bound. For example, मुझे बुक पढ़नी है तो I'll plan मैं 10 बजे 45 minutes के लिए for the next 3 days ये specific book पढ़ूँगी. So the first step is to put up a reminder. My phone ideally should ring at 10 p.m. every day and remind me that hey, you need to start reading your book right now. Right? The second step is routine. I need to do it for the next 3 days as the minimum goal. Now a lot of times what will happen is first 3 days I could do it. The next 3 days I set my goal, I could not do it. But the idea should be अगर मैं next 3 days नहीं कर पाई, I set my goal again for 3 days. If I am able to do it for the next 3 days, great. I should reward myself, which is the third step. Rewarding yourself, friends, is the best way to signal your brain that hey, this is the activity that you should ideally do. There is this hormone called dopamine, which is the happy hormone, which gets triggered when you reward yourself. Maybe giving yourself a good pat, maybe giving yourself a small pastry or anything that you really like to eat, or maybe you want to go out with your friends or something of that sort could be a small reward for you. So 3 steps for habit formation. First is routine, reward and study. That's the whole game of habit formation. Right? Now when you look at the next steps, it would be somewhere around understanding your body. Why understanding your body is important is because a lot of times I see kids, they are not comfortable with the body image they have. Self-esteem is also impacted with how do you see yourself. The traditional definition of self-esteem has been changed to how I see myself to बाकी लोग मुझे कैसा देख रहे हैं. That is also very important, right? Now you will see there's this lady called Amy Cuddy. Now who is Amy Cuddy? She is a Harvardian who talks about body postures. Now body posture is very important. So for example, I plan to sit like this, which shows confidence, whereas if I sit like this, shows low confidence. If you sit in the school, please identify yourself and how you are sitting after every 15 minutes for one day. Just for one day you will realize your body posture is very bad. I see majority of the kids sitting in their classes like this. So one, be very confident and try to understand what kind of body postures are correct. It's not only important to show confidence, but also for you to keep your body intact. Now there is another thing called power poses. You can just search about it and try to understand. There are different things. For example, this is a power pose. Next, doing exercise. While you'll see a lot of kids having weight issues because of probably genetics or medical conditions or anything of that sort. While one component is accepting your body type, another thing is doing regular exercise. Both of these things go hand in hand. Why is this important? Again, is because if your body is not healthy, there is no way that you can study, right? Next, grooming. Again, grooming is also a very important thing. Self care does not just involve कि ठीक है हमने अपना इमोशनल हाइजीन पर ध्यान दिया. It also involves हम ड्रेसअप कैसे हो रहे हैं, हमारा हेयर स्टाइल कैसा है, what kind of footwear are we wearing, and how are we dressing up. For students who are planning to go for university admissions, you guys will also have your interview rounds. These days it's very common for universities to take interview rounds. So just ensure you are having a formal attire, your hairstyle is professional. For girls, your accessories should be minimal, your footwear should be completely formal. For guys it could be shoes, for women it could be proper sandals that you guys are wearing. Next, it could be emotions management. A lot of times during examinations, I see a lot of students panicking to the extent that they are just not able to study or even give their examinations in a sensible manner. Now when I say sensible, it actually means, am I able to remember what I just learned? Is everything in my memory or not? How do you manage your stress? The first step is emotions management. How do you manage your emotions is, one, identify them. A lot of times we are just not able to identify what kind of emotions we are having. Primarily we just feel 4 emotions, and you will be shocked to know that in a human lifespan we have more than 34,000 human emotions. So there's this concept of circle of emotions that you can of course read about and try to understand and analyze every situation, that hey, this is how it's working. Maybe in the current situation abhi exams ka bahut stress hai, to 1 2 3 4 5 emotions is what I am feeling. Then take 10-15 minutes for yourself, just relax, see how do you want to work around. Understand your brain is a very powerful tool. It will always give you solutions on how do you manage your emotions, unless you give your brain some time to work on it, right? Second is healthy support system. Now there is this thing called eustress. What is eustress? It's basically the good stress. It's actually helping you to push yourself to study harder, motivating you a bit more to study better. So eustress is something that comes up from a healthy support system. What is a healthy support system? My mom, dad trying to help me during my examinations. रात को मैं पढ़ रही हूँ, she'll give me milk, she'll give me snacks to eat. I'm connecting with my friends who are letting me know that, you know, I've done 2 chapters, let's say I've done 3. Maybe you get on a call, you decide that, hey, let's discuss 5 questions. I've done 1, 2, this says 1, 3, and a healthy discussion is going on. So a healthy support system is very important for you to manage your stress. Next is mindfulness. Mindfulness is almost equivalent to meditation, however not very similar also. Why mindfulness is important is because if I am there present in the moment, my memory will work sharper, I will be able to learn better, and I will be able to grasp information much better than if I am not there in the moment. You will see a lot of kids are lost. मैंने ये पढ़ा तो पर मुझे याद नहीं हुआ. Why? Because I am not present in the moment. Then reappraising yourself instead of suppressing your own emotions. मम्मी ने डांट दिया अभी, लेकिन मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है, मेरे को बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है, अब मैं कोने में 15-20 मिनट नहीं 1 घंटा बैठे रहेंगे. Why? Because we are not able to give ourselves enough time to understand that, hey, she scolded me for a reason, this is what emotions I am feeling, it's okay to feel that way. Maybe give yourself 10-15 minutes to calm down and then get back. And the last one is self-care. Maybe putting your Optin for yourself, maybe giving your hair an oil massage or something of that sort could be a good step for the self-care. Then for people who are actually interested to work on with students specifically, there are a few careers that are very closely working with students. The first one is a career counselor. So for example, if you want to go ahead and work as a career counselor, there are a few diploma courses that you can do. For example, from Mindler, IDC, Univariety, there's a course in Jamia Millia Islamia University as well. So you can look at it. Another interesting course, apart from the traditional ones, would be BLEd course for teaching. Then there are child psychologists. You'll be shocked to know that there are a lot of opportunities after MA Psychology for child psychologist positions as well. Then there is dance and sports specialists, just like you might have seen your dance teachers, your sports trainers in your schools. So you can do relevant bachelors in these categories, get some experience and work in the relevant fields also.
So these are the different areas as explained by you. As per the topic, if you would like to discuss more on how the relationships are affecting a child's career, we have seen in many of the families the parents' relationship are at the logger's head, and because the parents' relationship are not good with each other, the father and mother are always fighting. In some way or the another, we have seen the child has a troubled childhood as well as in future. He faces lots and lots of problems because psychology, he or she is burdened by what parents has given them. So as a parent, should we need to take our relationships to a level where child could learn instead of learning bad from us? What do you think?
Very fair question, and I think a very common situation that we face. The thing is that even as a parent, we are still humans. We tend to do our mistakes. We tend to have a lot of things that we ourselves are struggling on. So as a child, step number one would be to understand that, hey, this is the kind of relationship my parents have. Second, try to understand if you are actually required to interfere or not. Right? Third, a lot of times I see these kids try to interfere a lot. Why? Because they are just trying to help them resolve all these issues. While the best idea for you is to understand that, hey, do they need your help? If yes, please go ahead and help them. If no, a lot of times parents actually need a good listener. Right? Some of the times my mama would come to me and say that, this person did that, this person did that, just like a child would go to their mothers and tell them, mama, my teacher scolded me, mama, my friend fought with me, and a lot of these things. So the best idea is to understand, comprehend the situation as a child, and as a parent, there are two things that you should be very mindful. One, how are you communicating in front of your child? Of course, you are bound to fight in a marriage setup, because as a parent you will have a lot of new experiences with the child, especially when the child is coming in the teenage years. If this is your first child, you're also learning that, hey, I don't know why my kid is behaving like that. Then even as a parent, the mother and the father can have a difference of opinions. कि अभी बच्चे को डांटना है, the other one might say कि नहीं डांटना है, just let the person be. Right? So those kind of opinions you should sit and communicate within a separate space, not in the front of the child. Then there is another thing. For example, one person might be louder than the other person, which might indicate the child that, hey, one of them is not in a position to speak for themselves, which might always not be the case. There is a dynamics, right, as a parent that we usually follow. So help yourself understand that, and please sit with the child and help them understand that, hey, of course there will be difference of opinions, but this is how you handle it, so that it's not only you who will learn that this is how you respectfully resolve, but the child will also learn in their future that, hey, if I'm having a difference of opinion with somebody, I rather not go and fight with them or just ignore it. Let's just talk it out.
That is the most important thing, and I believe that communication is key to success. Whether be its parents or the child, both of them are required to talk, because talking will, of course, will give a conclusion, a solution to the problems which either of them are facing. Now, some of the children, they have this very pressure from the parents choosing a career, and this relationship, because I'm a mother, I'm a father, I believe that whatever I'm thinking is right, and we try to negate with child's thought his desires, and this sometimes raises a conflict where child himself found himself in a situation. We need to opt it. We need to opt it because parents are saying, and one cannot follow his or her dreams and in that situation sometimes the child is landed into a wrong decision, a wrong career. So what do you think, with the passage of time, when world is changing, we need to keep our pace with the time and try to understand what the child is saying?
Definitely. So I think these situations are very common, especially in Indian households. Why? Because one, there is pressure of what Sharma ji ka beta is doing. Second, there is an expectation of what you want to do with your kid's life. Third, there is very limited knowledge. So as a parent, I would have a very limited knowledge of what kind of careers are there in the market. So one, make sure that you have enough knowledge to talk about different set of careers. Maybe you connect with experts. What happens is generally you connect with 3-4 people in your surroundings, and then you feel that life and options are limited to that only. Even today in a career counseling setup, we see a lot of parents coming up and saying that, hey, मुझे तो अपने बच्चे को सिर्फ इंजीनियर बनाना है, सिर्फ डॉक्टर बनाना है, childhood dream. Or the third most biggest dream of an Indian parent would be हमारा बच्चा सिर्फ IAS ही बनेगा. So the idea is that you should identify what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses of your child. Please identify what is the learning capacity of your child. Why? Because if you are wanting your child to become an IAS and if the sitting capacity is less than 3 hours, chances are he'll struggle a lot. If you're wanting your child to become a doctor and there is no interest in medical or in biology subject, chances are he won't be able to score their best in NEET examination. So the best idea is, one, connect with experts who have enough knowledge to talk about careers to help you understand what other options are there for your child, because the baseline is that parents always want the best for their kids, right? Why they are pushing you towards a particular career is because they feel you will have enough stability and enough money to support yourself. That's the whole goal for any set of parents you will see, irrespective of whatever category they are in. Right? So please make sure, guys, you're talking about a right set of careers with your parents. Do your research well or connect with the experts and try to understand that, hey, this is the best career choice for me, and then finalize it.
Very true. And as I earlier said, both of them need to sit together and communicate. Communication is key to success. Sometimes being as parents, जो हम नहीं कर पाए, अपने अधूरे ख्वाबों को पूरा करवाना चाहते हैं अपने बच्चों के ज़रिए. And sometimes kids also need to understand the parents have huge long experience, they have seen life, and they don't want their kid to land in the same situation, same struggles as they are facing and they were facing in their lives. So this is the thing which would be, of course, resolved if they sit together, if they discuss, if they put forward their points. And parents should also try to understand what are the ongoing trends. They should also learn the success stories of the people who are making their way, thinking apart from the IITs as well as from the medical or the IAS and the other elite areas. Now, another important thing which I would like you to highlight over here, how the mental health is very important, because careers are related to the relationships. We can't live without people. There is no career without people. We have people at our home, at our house, the place where we study, the place where we are going to work. So relationships are always, we are always surrounded by the people. So how important is to take care of our mental health, and from the beginning, when we are a child, how important it is for the parents to push their children into yoga, meditation, so that they could have a blessed future.
Definitely. So while mental health is an important concept, but it's not just limited to you working in a professional setup or on a university level. It starts right from a kid who is probably starting their school life. Just remember your child coming to you and telling you that, Mama, my teacher scolded me and I don't know, I just feel like hitting somebody. In fact, you will also see very small kids trying to hit each other. This is them just trying to understand what is an acceptable response for anger. So for kids as small as 5 years old, you should understand that healthy ways of expressing your emotions is something that you need to teach your child. Just like Ms. Gitika clearly said, practicing yoga, meditation, trying different classes, maybe some karate, drawing classes or whatever of that sort. Please let your child have an emotional outlet is one of the best step that you can teach your child.
And accepting your child the way he or she is like winning the half battle. Sometimes we expect so much from our children that we tend to lose our children afterwards, because children feel so that our parents are not understanding us, and because they are not understanding us, it is useless talking to them. Do you feel so that we need to revive ourselves, we need to go with the pace the world is moving? So that is the most important crucial thing right now.
Definitely.
So, what else would you like to tell to the students who might be watching us right now, so that they could have a blessed future also, and they could have a blessed relationships also, which God has given to them, as well as not to take care of too much about what social media is saying. Of course, the friends are important and they play a crucial role in our lives, but we should learn and listen to particular people in life to a level. They are not going to influence our lives. So, any of your suggestions which you like to give to the students?
Definitely. As a student, I think your best idea should be to focus on yourself, your life, what kind of future you want to make for yourself. You know, there are three very important questions that you should ask yourself every day. What do I want to do? What do I want to do for my family, for the society, and for my own self? Just ask yourself three questions. Make your goals in a way that if you see them after 1 year, you're able to achieve a good step-by-step journey for that. Second, forget चार लोग क्या कहेंगे. Why? Because today I see a lot of kids talking about their parents कि मम्मा पापा को तो सिर्फ ये पड़ी है कि बाकी लोग क्या कह रहे हैं. While I see their behavior is also corresponding to my friends, what are they going to say about me. A lot of kids these days, they are taking commerce with maths because my friends are taking it. However, they want to take humanities. They're coming to me and telling me, ma'am, I just want to take humanities, but since all of my friends they just took commerce, I also took commerce. So you are also following the same pattern. So think about your parents also as humans. Try to understand that, hey, they might also make some mistakes. So be a little more compassionate towards them, and try to understand that, hey, let me work on my journey as something I want to be, and let's not negate the positive feelings that your parents have for your own growth. So feel free to communicate with them whatever you want to do, and I'm pretty sure that your parents and anybody who is in your support system is definitely going to support you.
Definitely. Thank you, Ms. Kriti, for giving us this wonderful session. We learned different aspects. We learned how one could focus on himself and herself, and how one could find a road ahead, because finding that road is the most important thing, and it can be discovered only when one is focused. Thank you so much for giving us this wonderful session, and hope to see you in near future too. So, dear friends, thank you so much for watching us. We would be delighted to have your feedbacks, your questions, as well as your suggestions. You may write to us at cecgurukul.live@gmail.com. We are going to meet again next Thursday and would be discussing on another important topic related to your careers. Till then, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.